pencil, an eraser, and a piece of paper in front of you. Please make sure you have a pencil, a paper, and an eraser right in front of you. Please get ready. Your videos are not necessary at all unless you're sitting for the mock test. All right. Your videos are not necessary at all unless you're taking the test. All right. Since my power is out, I will be using my phone for the feedback, because if I start writing on paper, I won't be able to see anything. So I'm going to use the notepad on my phone for feedback. If you see me typing away on my phone, please don't be put out. I'm not texting. I will be writing down the feedback. Now, Fazlul Karim sir, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Can you start your video? The ones who are taking the mock test, your videos are necessary.
Okay, thank you.
Right. My power is back on.
Okay, thank you.
Just give me one moment so that I can take pen and paper. Just one moment, please.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Now, Mr. Fazlul Karim sir, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am, I am ready.
So where is your right hand? Sit like hands should be in front of you. Your hands should be in front of you.
Oh.
That's a very relaxed.
Oh.
Like that on your test.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Stay relaxed, but your hands should be in front of you. Right?
Okay, thank you.
May I know your full name, please?
Good afternoon. My full name's Fazlul Karim.
How may I address you?
You can call me Karim.
All right, Karim. Where are you from?
I am from Bangladesh, from Kaliakor, Gazipur, which is in the northwest part of the capital, Dhaka.
All right. Okay. Is it a good place to live?
Yes, obviously, it's a very good place for live. And generally speaking, I live in my place, and I love to live in my place rather than cities.
You like science?
Yes, obviously, I like science. Because science, I wanted to become a scientist. That's why I took I came from my science background, and I have completed my graduation by chemistry and molecular biology. That's why I love science.
All right. Do you think science should be compulsory in, say, high school?
I think in high school, in my opinion, science is compulsory, because when that time is a growing state. In growing state, if we do not understand the basic of science, we will face more problem in future.
Right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
How often do you write on paper?
Basically, when I read, I study. After that, I write on paper. It helps me for memorizing my answer.
All right. What do you like better, typing or writing on paper?
Mm, Nowadays typing is more better than writing, but in my study purpose, like academic purpose, I should write. That's why both are like writing on paper or typing on computer. It depends on
All right.
situation.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Did you often write by hand in school or did you have to type?
Oh, no, I always write in my hand on when I went to school and where I study in my school. And,
All right. That brings us to the end of part one. Now, for part two, I will be showing you a topic. You'll
yes.
have 1 minute to prepare and then 2 minutes to speak on it. All right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I will be sharing the screen with you. Do you see it?
Yes, ma'am. I see.
Your 1 minute begins now.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Your time is up. Now you'll be speaking for 2 minutes. Please begin.
I know several person in my country whose are most famous. Here, I would like to talk about a person who is very famous of our country. The name of the person is Dr. Zafrullah Chaudhary. Uh, he is helping to the people seen our liberation work and still doing, and he is famous for his charity work. He has doing his charity work by his three different organization. For example, Ganashastha Hospital, Ganashastha Samajvitik Medical College, and Gana Vishwavidyalaya. And he is supporting to the poor people by helping treatment from her Ganashastha Hospital. And one important thing is that yeah, before our in our country the kidney dialysis price was so more, but after setup from Ganashastha Hospital, the system kidney dialysis, it will be more cheaper, and even the poor people are can get uh, can dialysis her kidney with so low rate, even free. And he is famous for her charity work. And he is not only famous in our country but also abroad. And he always love our country. And his great contribution of our DAC policy, and he is a member of this
All
implementation of
right.
DAC
Thank you
policy.
very much. Your 2 minutes are up.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
do your friends like this person?
Could you repeat your question, ma'am?
Do your friends like this person?
Sorry, I couldn't understand. Friends meaning, can you paraphrase the word friends?
I mean that the person that you have just spoken about, your friends, the persons that you are close with, but not your
Oh,
family, your friends,
oh,
do
oh,
they
thank
like
you.
this person as well?
Oh, yes. Yes, this person is more close to me because I was a student of Gana Vishwavidyalaya, and the founder of Gana Vishwavidyalaya is Dr. Zafrullah Chaudhary. That's why I am so close to him, and many time I have meet with her. Many time I have meet with her, and he is a great person and very interesting person.
All right. Do you think that celebrities portray a country's image to the world?
Yes, obviously, I think that any celebrity is always represent our own country, and this celebrity person always representing our country by his goodness, by his good work, and by his performance, and by his uh, mm, or all of the work.
All right. How do you think celebrities can create a positive image?
Oh, yes. Yes. Celebrity always celebrity the person who is better in any sector, like acting, like helping to other people, like charity work, and like a hero or heroine, such as. But and this type of people knows all over, not only Bangladesh, all over the world. That's why they are celebrity. And any voice, any message, if they give to others, everybody accept this message. That's why celebrity can represent his country by his work and by his space.
All right. Do you know of any celebrity who portrays their country's image in a negative light?
Yes, I know one of the lady. He has been a negative effect on our country. I can't remember this name. The lady is argued to the Donald Trump about our country, is religious effect, is religious conflict have in our is occurring in our country, but it was a great bad effect for our country, but I forget the lady's name.
All right. That brings us to the end of your test.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
All right. এবার I will be giving you your feedback. আচ্ছা।
Oh,
প্রথম যেই জিনিসটা মাথায় রাখবেন সেটা হচ্ছে আপনার নাম জিজ্ঞেস করলে শুধু নামটা বলবেন। Good afternoon is not necessary. When they ask you your name, may I have your full name, please? Only say your name. You can say good morning or good afternoon to your examiner when you enter the exam room, or if you're on a video conference test, then you can say good afternoon after you have been connected. All
oh,
right. You won't need to say it when you're saying your name.
okay, thank
Firstly.
you.
Secondly, paraphrase the question. You cannot repeat the question in your answer. You
Okay,
cannot use the words and phrases from the question in your answer. Huh? You have to paraphrase the questions. All right.
oh,
When you're answering. Okay. Your answers, you should talk as long as you can. You shouldn't stop by yourself. All right. The examiner will stop you once your time is up.
oh,
All right. Most of the questions, you stop by yourself. Don't do that.
oh,
Keep going until the examiner stops you. This is your speaking test, so you should speak as much as you can. Okay? Acha. For basic questions, I don't think I had to stop you once. And your answers could be a little more organized. Do you know the area method? Have
Uh,
you attended the class, the first class of speaking, as far as I can remember?
yes, I attended.
So do you know the area method of answering? AREA, area method.
Oh, I do not follow this, but I forget this. Oh,
Okay. So I think a little bit of practice with the area method can be useful. All right. If you need to review the class, it's on YouTube. You can go back and see it at any time you want.
yes.
While answering, try to use the area method. Answer, reason, example, additional info.
Oh,
So that makes your answer organized and gives you ideas on
oh,
what to talk about. All right. Gotcha.
okay.
For part two, do you know how much mark you get from part two? Around how much mark?
I think it's 70% mark. Get.
Exactly. Good. You took 20 seconds. 20 seconds to say the name of your topic. 20
Oh,
seconds is too long. Try to say the name within 12 to 15 seconds. 20 seconds is a little bit too long. You should state what your topic is within the first two sentences of your speech.
oh,
If it's a person, say the name. If it's a place, say the name. If it's an activity, say what it is. If it's a time or an event, say what it is. Within the first 2 or 3 sentences of your speech. All
oh.
right. Okay. The names that you have addressed this person, Dr. Can you repeat the name, please?
Dr. Zafrullah Chaudhary.
Dr. Jafarullah Chaudhary. I keep thinking about Mohammad Jafar Iqbal, sir. Okay.
Oh,
So Dr. Jafarullah Chaudhary. His institutions, I think they have English names. So when you're using the names, try to use the English names. Do the institutions have English names?
English name, yes. গণবিশ্ববিদ্যালয়, গণস্বাস্থ্য সমাজভিত্তিক
Hmm.
মেডিকেল কলেজ, and গণস্বাস্থ্য hospital. It's
So
have
they have
no,
English counterparts, right? Their
yes,
names?
yeah. This name is this way, and is not have another name in
Oh,
English.
then that's fine. Then say the names. Then say the names. No problem. The examiner will find out whether they have English names before she can or he can
Oh,
mark it. All right. So this point, his and her. You're misgendering the people. When you're
oh,
talking about a woman, you're supposed to say her. When you're talking about a man, you're supposed to say his. And if
yes.
you're not sure, you can say they. You
Oh,
can say the plural, they, or one.
yes.
He does not have to. One does not have to. You can say one. You can use one. So I think you're misgendering a lot of the people.
Yes.
So please be careful a little about it. His and her. This sounds a little awkward. So the examiner might get a little annoyed at you. I don't think the examiner can take away a lot of marks for this, but
Yes.
it sounds a little awkward.
Oh,
You started going off your topic after 1 minute 40 seconds. After that, you had to struggle to come up with sentences or points to talk about. How many notes did you take, may I ask?
4.
Not enough. Not enough.
It's, ma'am, it's what or sentence? Yes.
Nah, when you take notes, those are not sentences. Those shouldn't be sentences. You are supposed to take notes in keywords. Did you take notes?
I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Ooh. Then I'm not sure why. Did you cover all the 9 points?
I cover all the 9. Yes, but no. The last part I didn't cover.
That's why I think you probably did not look at your notes. You can look at your notes, by the way. You can look at your notes. You can look down, see the point,
Yes.
and then talk about it. All right. So after 1 minute 40 seconds, your flow was interrupted. That will lose some marks. That will lose you some marks. All right. So try to keep the flow uninterrupted and in rhythm as much as possible. There's a good way to practice this. Record yourself while you're practicing. If you can voice record yourself, when you listen to your own record, you can actually improve a lot of things by yourself. Yeah, this is a good way to practice. Record yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Acha. If you do not understand a question, ask the examiner to rephrase it. Could you please rephrase the question, not
Oh,
paraphrase? Could you
okay.
please rephrase the question?
Okay.
And never say the word sorry to your examiner, ever.
Okay.
All right? Examiners don't like the word sorry. So if you have to say sorry, you can be a little formal and say, pardon me.
Oh,
That's a good way to say it. I asked you, do your friends like this person? হ্যাঁ,
yeah.
which translates to, which means যে আপনার বন্ধুরা এই মানুষটাকে পছন্দ করে কি?
Oh,
You gave me the answer in a way that you're friends with this person.
I
Yeah,
didn't understand. Now I
exactly.
understand this.
Exactly. You didn't understand. You understood the question. So what happened was your answer was not relevant.
Relevant.
You'll lose marks in coherence for this.
Oh,
If you cannot understand the question, you misunderstand the question, you answer irrelevantly, you lose marks in coherence. So I think it wasn't your listening as much as your comprehension of the question. You didn't understand the meaning of the question, right?
yes.
I think you need a little bit of more pair practice. Do you have someone you can practice with?
Yes, I am starting practicing, but 2 to 3 days before. But I am using the app OpenTalk or Hello. Is about 5 to 6 months, but it's not in the IELTS styles way. It's generally speaking. That's why I'm facing this problem.
Your classmates are your best partners. You know that, right? They're in the best position to practice with you. Whoever is present in this class, look around. These
Yes.
can be your partners.
Yes.
Your classmates are your
Yes.
best
Yes.
option of being partners. All right.
Oh, okay.
Name. You forgot the lady's name, right?
Yes.
The
Yes.
person you were saying who had a negative impact.
Yes.
Make up a name if necessary, but say the name. If you just make it up, at the very least, you're taking a chance. If the examiner knows about this incident, they will deduct some marks because you could not say the name, but at least you say the name. You put a name to the person, an identity. So even if you have to make up a name, do it. Don't say,
Oh.
I don't remember the name. Just make it up.
If I make another name is not affect on my mark. This will not affect on my mark.
There's a good chance it will not. There's a good chance it will not.
Oh.
Even I don't remember the name of the lady, but
Oh.
I know you're talking about. I don't
Yes.
remember the name. So if the examiner also doesn't remember the name, your marks will not be deducted.
Oh.
But you'll get some marks for not saying I don't remember.
Oh.
ঠিক আছে?
Oh.
And if you cannot remember a name, talk about someone else. There are so many people who have a negative impact. Okay? So make up a name or talk about someone who, it's all right. Talk about someone you can remember the name. Acha. But now let's come to the good points. These were the improvements that you can have. Your fluency is very good.
Yes.
Part 2, you spoke well.
Oh,
you spoke well and your fluency is really good. A little bit of practice on your coherence and vocabulary will garner a lot more marks.
okay.
Plus, a little bit of basic grammar practice.
Yes.
Sometimes your sentences, especially the subject-verb agreement, they're not accurate. So some basic grammar will give you good results.
Oh.
There are books on grammar that you can use, like IELTS grammar, Cambridge Grammar for IELTS. There are TOEFL books, Baron TOEFL, Cliff's TOEFL. Those are good. Those are good for grammar practice. So you can practice from those. All right. Let me give you your mark. It should be within the range of 6 to 6.5. I would give you a 6.5 now. With improvement, you can get to 7.5. Right?
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right, Fazul sir, thank you for your
Okay, thank you,
participation. You can
ma'am.
turn off.
Thank you very much. I have got a lot of information from you to this examination, and I
That's
didn't know
my
about this method and about this technique. And thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much.
no problem. Next class, we'll talk again and we'll see how much improvement you've got. All right?
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You
Okay,
can turn off your audio and video. Allah.
okay.
Ma'am, ma'am, I have never an interview with you. So I would like you to take.
Okay, Mahmoud sir, please wait. I think Masum Billah sir wanted to go before you, and he asked me if I could take his interview first. Would you please wait? I will ask. I will take your test after. Is that
Okay,
okay?
ma'am, I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting.
Masum sir, are you here?
Yes.
All right. Can you turn on your audio for me, please?
There are some outside background noise. Maybe you can.
I can hear that. I can hear that. There is a setting in the audio option, audio settings, advanced settings, where you can actually mute the surrounding sound and background noise. You can mute that. Can you do that?
Actually, I don't know, but if you can let the other people know to mute their. For
Okay, so in a few minutes, the noise should subside, right? In a few minutes, the noise should subside. It should go away. That's what you're saying. মানে অন্যদের টেস্ট নিতে নিতে শব্দটা কমে যাবে তারপরে you can take the test. Yes?
না না এখন যারা টেস্ট দিচ্ছে না তারা মিউট করে রাখলে তো তাহলে আসে না।
আচ্ছা. Is anyone else's audio on?
Shaharia. Okay.
I was under the impression that you said the audio was noisy on your end.
Yes. Right now it is okay. It's okay.
Forgive me, I misunderstood. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
You have your pencil, paper, eraser, everything right in front of you?
Yes.
Let's begin. Now, may I have your full name, please?
My name's Masum Billah.
All right. Where are you from?
I'm from Shariatpur. This is northern district of Dhaka city. At present, I live in October.
All right. Let's talk about an app you recently downloaded on your phone. Which is it?
Well, last week I downloaded BBC Learning English, and this is most popular website throughout the world. Even I have been using it, and even I'm benefited a lot because there are lots of suggestions, advice, as well as some audio clips by which I'm learning, and whenever I watch it.
Much. Asum sir, I think your internet connection might be a little unstable, or mine. Can anyone unmute and tell me whether I'm getting stuck or Masum sir is? Could anyone kindly tell us which one of us
Ma'am,
is?
you're fairly audible. There is no problem. We have found from your side.
All right. Masum sir, I think the network connection on your end might be a little faulty. Huh? Because your video keeps getting stuck on my screen. However, Awesome, sir, where are you?
Yes, yes, madam. Yeah.
Okay. So what might happen is you might have to turn off your video if your audio also is disturbed. All right? Might. Not like right now. If there is a problem, I'll ask you to turn off your video. You can keep it on for now.
Okay.
All right. So where do you get information about new apps?
Well, I, I often try to get these sorts of information from my friend circle, those who are accustomed to use these sorts of devices, as well as electronic devices, as well as my colleagues. They often
All right.
inform me to use it.
Where were you brought up?
Um, Honestly saying, I grew up in my village, which is outside in Dhaka city with my family members. And for I stayed, I lived there approximately 25 years. And after that, that I come back in Dhaka. That I come in Dhaka.
All right. When do you think parents can feel proud of their kids?
Well, actually, honestly say, I think when their kids or the children and they perform well in their school, even when they can bring their good CGPA in their from the result by this time, they can feel proud with their
All
neighbors
right.
as well. That,
Very much. Do you think that kids should be given rewards by parents or at school or both?
uh, of course, I do believe rewards should be given by their parents to their children because it is one kind of inspiration. The way children they can more focus on their academic study, and even they will be inspired a lot how to bring a good result compared to the others. So from this sense, this is one
All
kind
right.
of way.
Thank you very much. Are there any disadvantages to giving rewards to students way too often?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that there is no any drawbacks of giving gift or awarded to their children, because I think there are always positive sides I can recognize to you rather than disappointed to the student, to the children, because as I said earlier, that giving gift is one kind of inspiration and motivation
Thank you very
to.
much. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, madam.
Your stuff. Acha, I cannot see part of your face. Can you adjust your camera a little bit? This works. This works. Thank you. Now, for part 2, I will be showing you a topic. You'll have 1 minute to prepare on it and then 2 minutes to speak on it. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. This is your topic. Your 1 minute begins now. Your time is up. Now you're going to speak for 2 minutes. Please begin.
Okay, thank you. Now I'd like to describe about my memorable moment, like this. My family members are very proud. I are very proud. Actually, when I got my result in from ACC exam at that time, I in 2003, when I was very, I was very proud. I felt proud of getting my CGPA. At that time, uh, my school invited me to receive reward from that place. So actually, at the time, my family members, my parents were there. Even they felt how the contribution. How they contributed for myself of giving a good outstanding result. So even when I come back with my award, uh, then my neighbors as well as my relatives, they come to my residence to see me. Even I felt that how they proud of my of my uh, of my award. But not only that, even after that, I was also very, I was also very inspired uh, confident about my family member, the way how they supported me in 2013, sorry, 2003, because as at the time I felt that if their support, for example, inspiration, motivational support, and financial support were absent by this time, it might be impossible for me to get such good result. So I think I feel very proud of being a member of my family because my parents always guided me to.
Very, that is the end of your part 2 presentation. Now, do you think that nuclear families are better or joint families?
Well, I do believe nuclear family is much better compared to joint family because there is no any in nuclear family there is no any additional hassle as well as a problem outside problem. Even not only that, whenever there is less member of my any family, then by this time it is quite easier to take any decision within shortly compared with joint family. From this sense, I think nuclear family is much better compared with nuclear joint family.
All right. Do you think that only academic achievements of children are to be proud of?
I'm afraid I do believe academic achievement is good for the children. It doesn't mean they are succeed in their life. If there are outside knowledge, for example, or sports or basic knowledge or any social examples, there is these sort of things are accessed. I think they are not fully successful in their career. So from my point of view, I think children should be well organized for all sectors. And for example, academic sector, and as well as they should have capacity to meet with
All right. Thank you very much. What extracurricular activities do you think children in your country should be taken part of?
Well, this is a good question, I think. Currently, I think our children, although children are giving lots of effort in their academic sector, but there are some lackings of, for example, they cannot get opportunity. They do not get opportunity to learn professional activities. It can be coding, for example, how to operate the computer smoothly. But if these sorts of training should be involved in, if these sorts of training is involved in educational institution, then children can do much better for the future. So I strongly believe that children should have sufficient
All right.
room
Thank you very much.
to flourish for themselves.
That will be all. Okay. We are at the end of your test. Awesome, sir. First of all, I had to stop you in almost every part, and that's a very good thing. I think only one question was there, which you spoke for 39 seconds, where you should have to speak for 42 to 45 seconds in part 3. But first of all, good. Secondly, pronunciation. That is your biggest challenge. Your pronunciation has a lot of Bangla accent in it. Huh? So when we are speaking English, we should try to speak it like English. When we are speaking Bangla, we should try to speak it like Bangla. When we're speaking Bangla English accent, when we're speaking Bangla in English accent or English in Bangla accent, therein starts our problem. Work on your pronunciation, especially the words that have the suffix shun. You say shon instead of shun. So if you work on your pronunciation a little bit, pronunciation is the 4th criterion that you will be marked on. Remember?
Yes.
It's one of the criterion that you will be marked on. So correct pronunciation is extremely important. Acha. When you begin your answers, you take a little more time than you should. It happened in part 1. It also happened in part 3. So in the beginning, you take a little more time, I think, to think and formulate your answer, which takes away from the ending of your answers. You cover less points than you should be able to cover in your speed. Your speed is good, but in the beginning, you take a little more time than necessary. So if you're able to think and speak at the same time, that gives you much more space to work on your answers. So practice that a little bit. All right. Sentence structures. Your fluency and coherence are both great. Your basic sentence structures need a little bit more work. Because there are things that you say like, there is no any way. That's not a correct sentence. Then you started part 2 by saying thank you. You don't have. Please keep yourselves muted if you're not talking. This is a request from my end. Acha. So, Masum sir, you don't have to say thank you when you're starting part 2. Direct start with your answer. Okay? Go to your topic. Address your topic.
When I start part 2, how can I start? I mean, should I preface the topic first? No need to say things I got it.
Well, you can start by directly addressing the topic. If it's an event, say what event it is. If it's a person, name the person and your relationship with that person. If it's a place, name the place. Start with it directly. That is your first goal. When you're well versed with part 2, you know how to excel in part 2. That's when you can start with a little bit of decorative language, but not too much. Maybe 1 sentence or 2 sentences, a little bit of decorative language, which actually shows how much variation you can bring to your speech. But this is only after you have mastered speaking part 2. Part 2 te আপনার কোনো ভুল হয় না. There are no other mistakes or no other problems in part 2. That's when you can start tweaking your language. Before that, go directly for the answer. All right? Your priority should be starting your speech directly with the topic. All right. Don't say thank you. Don't say okay. Don't say actually. Never start your answers or your speech with these words. Then you said, now I'm going to say about a time that my family made me proud, or I was proud in my family. Don't say that. Don't repeat the question. Now I'm going to talk about a time. Now I'm going to talk about the person who I admire. Now I'm going to talk about the place I went for a vacation. Don't repeat the topic. Just go for the answer. Okay? Acha. There were some problems like you repeated sentences. Within part 2, you started a sentence, you stopped midway, you came back to the beginning of the sentence and then completed it. All right. Try not to do that. Repetitions, pauses, mumbling. Alhamdulillah, you don't have any mumbling. However, a little bit of effort in this part, not to repeat sentences, will bring you a lot more marks in fluency and coherence. All right? Acha. Vocab. Sometimes you use the wrong form of the word. For example, your family came to your residence, not resident. So when you're using a word, try to use the correct forms and try not to repeat the same words again and again. This will give you more marks in vocab if you don't repeat vocabulary, and if you can, bring more variations and use the correct forms. That will give you a lot more marks in lexical resources. So this is what I have for you. Also, linkers. Don't keep saying I think. You said it quite a few times. Try to use other linkers. For example, I believe, it is my understanding, it is my belief that. These are the linkers that you can use in place of I think. So a little more variation in linkers will give you more marks, both in coherence and vocabulary. Okay? Your priority is pronunciation. Work on your pronunciation. All right? So by this test, if you were to perform like this on your test, let me think of it. Do you know how your marks are calculated?
Yes, lexical resources, grammatical density, pronunciation, task response.
No, task responses for writing. Speaking it, your first criterion is fluency and coherence. That's the most important one. Then lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. You get 9, you get out of 9 on each of these bands, and then the average is your speaking score. So pronunciation, I don't think you will get a lot of marks because of your incorrect pronunciation of the words, plus but your sound links are good. Since you are fluent, your sound links are good. You don't take many pauses, so you should at least get a 6. But, Masum sir, with pronunciation and variation in vocabulary, it could get up to 7.5. So work on that. All right? I don't think you're happy with your score.
Exam, this is a exam 6.
Tele, you need to improve a lot, right?
যেটা বুঝতাম সেটা হচ্ছে কি রিয়েল এক্সামে গেলে হয় কি মানে আই গো টু স্কুল শি গোস টু স্কুল এই লেভেলের সেন্টেন্স চলে আসে মানে সেন্টেন্স ভেরিয়েশন কমপ্লেক্স কম্পাউন্ড তারপরে আবার লেক্সিক্যাল রিসোর্স মানে এই লেভেলে কিছু আসে না মানে খালি সিম্পল কথাবার্তা চলে আসে
তাহলে ইউনিট প্র্যাকটিস
আমি বলছি ভালো কিন্তু এই সেন্টেন্স ভেরিয়েশন আসে
Tell you need to practice conjunctions. Huh? Remember fanboys on a white bus? You need to practice using those conjunctions in your speech. Just practice using conjunctions and making compound and complex sentences for at least 10 minutes for 1 week. Just to practice for it. Only practice making compound complex sentences. You know your problems. Specifically practice for those. Huh? Lexical resource. Now, how to improve your vocab? It varies from person to person. Find out what works for you, how you can remember words and their uses. For example, I mark the words whenever I'm reading something, I mark the words that I don't know yet. I write down the meaning on the margin, or if it's just a newspaper or something that I can lose very easily, I have a diary, alphabetically divided. I write the word down and I write its meaning down and use it in 2 or 3 sentences. That helps. Huh? There are some people who memorize the words and their meanings, and that helps. Find out what works for you, how you can remember the words and their meanings, and then work on it. Since you know the specific problems, practice specifically for those. This week, practice using compound and complex sentences in your speech. Next week, I will take your test again, and we can see how much progress you've made. How about that? Does that work?
Yes.
Okay, Mustafillah sir, any other thing, anything else that you'd like to talk about?
No, thank you. Already I got the point, but I need to overcome.
Okay, I'll see you next week then. All right, thank you. You can turn off your audio and video. Acha, Mahmoud Ibn Hussein.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I pronouncing your name right? Mahmoud Ibn Hussein.
Yes, ma'am. You are exactly correct.
Acha. Can you please start your video?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear me clearly, or should I use earphones?
I can hear you clearly. No problem at all. I can also see you clearly. All right. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have your pencil, paper, everything ready?
Yes, I have.
Put the pen down. Put the pen down. Are you using a pen?
Yes, ma'am. Because I have found I haven't found any pencil around me. That is why.
Okay. All right. But you do know that IELTS has no business with pens.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. As long as you know that, as long as you can practice that, it's fine. For now, no problem at all. All right. Let's begin. May I have your full name, please?
Yeah, my name's Mahmoud Ibn Hussein.
How may I address you? Mahmoud sir, I think you're stuck. Or am I stuck?
Ma'am, yeah, Mahmoud is enough, I see.
Okay. Again, let's begin again.
Okay, ma'am.
May I have your full name, please?
My name's Mahmoud Ibn Hussein.
All right. How may I address you?
Mahmoud is enough.
Okay, Mahmoud. Where's your hometown?
Yeah, I was born and brought up in Feni, and it is located in the division Chattogram. But currently I'm living in Dhaka, Uttara to be more exact. I'm here because my university is here. I have been here for around 6 to 7 years. Especially since I got admitted to university, I have to live here because my studies, my universities,
All
everything.
right. Thank you very much. So, tell me about your hometown. What are the things you miss?
In my opinion, my hometown is one of the smallest districts in Bangladesh. And And it is thought that Feni would be the most developed district after Dhaka and Chattogram in Bangladesh. It is thought, but I am not sure what people also think, because there are so many visible developments like six lane flyovers,
All
which
right, thank you very much. Is there something you don't like about your hometown?
yes, there are so many things I personally don't like. I'm not fond of those things, especially in Feni, people tend to send their sons uh, abroad for earning monies. They do not have any intention to educate their
Right,
sons, and
thank you
they
very
have
much. Let's talk about where you're living now. What kind of home do you have?
actually. I'm living in a rented house. It is on seventh floor. Maybe it is called attic. It is on seventh floor. If I tell you the exact location of my residence, it is in sector 13, Uttara Dhaka. I really love living here because the environment, all of the things
All
are
right,
really
thank you very
suitable for
much. How long have you been living here?
Yeah, I have been here for 6 years. Maybe it would be 7 years. I'm here. Uh, I shifted here since 2017, as far as I can remember. I'm here and I'm really enjoying living here because Uttara is totally different, somewhat different from other parts of Dhaka city, as
Thank
we
you
know.
very much. Now, for the next part of the test, I will be showing you a topic. You will have 1 minute to prepare and then 2 minutes to speak on it. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. This is your topic. You have 1 minute. Your time starts now.
যারা বেশি ব্যান্ড স্কোর পেয়েছে, যেমন যারা ৯ পাচ্ছে, ৮ পাচ্ছে, ওরা কিভাবে কথা বলছে সেটা একটু ফলো করা। এতে হবে কি,
Keep yourselves muted, please. All right, your 1 minute is up. Now you're going to speak for 2 minutes. Please begin.
I have had a lot of ambitions in my life so far, but recently I have changed my mind that I'll be working on my higher education. My higher education will be related to those things, those subjects, like how can I help the needy people? How can I educate the uneducated people? How can I educate the illiterate people? This is the main ambition of my life now. As I mentioned, I had a lot of different ambitions, but some situations and also some cases have changed my mind, and I will be an educated person, and I will be working, gathering knowledges, because if I make myself educated, and it will help me to make people conscious at the same time. For example, we can see there are so many people who are not careful about following the rules and regulations of the countries, Even if I mean, for example, they just keep cutting down the trees randomly, but they are not looking at at the effects of ecological imbalance. At the same time, they are just killing the animals, they are just hunting the birds. Like, all of these things are actually all of these things are being done because of the illiteracy of people, because of the unconsciousness of people. So first of all, I want to make myself educated. At the same time, I will learn how to make people educated, to prevent them from doing all of.
That is the end of part 2. Okay, now, do you think that goals are necessary to achieving success in life?
Yeah, it can varies from man to man. Everyone has the different perspectives, opinions. But in my opinion, I think this would be the most effective education if I can include those things in my education. For example, I can be an well-educated person, but I'm not much conscious about my environment. At the same time, I'm cutting down my trees, and I'm hunting birds. And if I do not look at them, how can I be uneducated? I don't know. That is why I can say all of these things I have mentioned before are really needed. Are really needed to be well educated. And if
All right, thank you very much. What are the important character traits to achieve your goals?
yeah, there as far as I have found some characteristics to reach my goal. First of all, I have to be consistent. I have to be consistent. I have to be patient, and I have to have a broad mentality. Because if I have a narrow mind, I cannot go for the help of the needy people or poor people. And if I should not have greed for money. I should not hanker after money. If I have that greed, I cannot do work. I cannot do work for the needy people, for the society, for the world.
Thank you very much. Do people's goals change with age?
Yeah, exactly. I believe people's goals are changed time to time, as my goals have been changed throughout my life. As I mentioned, I had a lot of goals, and recently I've changed my mind. This is how people's goals can be changed. I think this is a bright example of how the goals are changed, and this is how. And I can see a lot of people around me whose goals are changing time to time. Once some of my friends once dreamed to be BCS cadets. Recently they have changed their mind. They wanted to go abroad for their higher education.
All right, thank you very much. Do you think ambitions sometimes interfere with personal life?
Yeah, maybe it interfere in personal life, but I don't think it could be an ambition. It might be an ambition if I don't relate it with my personal life. How can it be an ambition if I do not relate it with my personal life? I think something could be then ambition when it is related, when it is included in personal life. So in this case, I do not agree with this statement. With this statement, like ambition can interfere.
All right, thank you very much. That brings us to the end of your test. Acha. Mahmoud sir, comprehension. You have to work on your comprehension a little bit, huh? Acha, when I ask you about your hometown, tell me more about your hometown, not your current living situation. Is it? So when you're talking about, when you're asked about where you're from, about your hometown, only include information that is relevant to it, not where you're living now. It's irrelevant. Is it? Your biggest problem, I think, is eye contact. It's not that you're looking at my face or the camera. You're looking everywhere else. A little bit of mixed eye contact like this, it's fine. But majority of the time, you're looking everywhere else but the screen or the camera.
Actually, ma'am, I did it. I did it just to overcome my fearness.
I know, I understand. Eye contact is less when confidence is low, when fear is there, when shame is there. There's something that you can quote me on. Fear and shame are wasted emotions. লজ্জা এবং ভয়ের কোনো মানে হয় না. These are wasted emotions. Not that. So I know why you cannot make eye contact. This is something you should work on. Please work on this. Eye contact is very important, even on video conference tests. Even on video conference tests. Right now, like I am talking to you right now, you think I'm making eye contact with you. Yes?
Yes.
Because I'm looking at the camera. It's fine, even if you don't talk looking at the camera, but to the examiner. You're looking at the examiner. Right now, I'm looking at your face. So it's not eye contact, but still I'm looking at your face. So that is a plus point, that I'm looking at the screen still. But now, this is not good. This is not good. This is not acceptable. They will cut your marks. The examiner will give you less marks for this. Gotcha. Repeating sentences. That is also something you should work on. You do the same thing like the previous candidate. You start the answer, you start the sentence, you stop midway, you go back to the beginning of the sentence and then say it all over again. Please work on that. Acha. So with your part 2, there are some major issues. First of all, from higher education, you said that your ambition was to get higher education so that you can educate other people as well. The examples that you provided, they sounded way irrelevant. The environment is in trouble because of people's ignorance, right? That is a good example, but you have to connect it to your answer. You have to make it relevant. You came out and said that people are doing this, the environment is facing this, this is happening, cutting down of trees and everything. That does not connect to your higher education, to your ambition of higher education. You have to connect it. If your ambition is to educate people specifically about ecological protection, then these are good examples. Anything that is irrelevant can be relevant if you connect it to your answer. So when you're providing examples, make sure you first establish the connection between your answer and the examples, and then list the examples. That will make your answer much better. So establish the connection between what you're saying, or else your coherence will suffer. The first question that I asked you in part 3, do you think that goals are necessary to achieving success in life? You, I think, extended the answer from your part 2 speech. You spoke more about your goals of higher education. That wasn't the question. The question was whether or not goals are necessary for success. You either say yes or no.
Maybe I told you the reason. Then when I came to give you an example, that time I showed my story maybe.
In that case, always start with yes or no on opinions. If the question asks for a yes or no answer, always start with yes or no. In place of yes, you can say absolutely, of course, definitely, all these things. But always start with a resounding yes or no, so that the examiner will understand where you're coming from. That could be a good way. Huh.
Ma'am, what should be done while I'm actually in confusion? I'm not sure if I should agree or not. If I should agree or should not agree. Okay. In that case, what should I do?
You have to either agree or
Actually,
not agree.
then I was confused, and if I tell you the actual situation, on this statement, I am really, my position is really like that what I told you.
Which one?
I'm talking about the question you have just mentioned.
So if you're not sure whether to say yes or no, make it up. Make your answer up, because in IELTS you cannot take a neutral position.
Actually, my answers are relevant to my confusion. I was actually making my answers relevant to my confusion. I think you have.
I understand. Yes, I understand that. However, you have to either say yeah. You have to pick a side, Mahmood sir. You always have to pick a side. In IELTS, you should never be diplomatic, or even if you are confused, pick one side, make the answer up. The examiner will not ask you after the test whether you spoke the truth or not. Whether or not you can pick a side, you can choose one side and provide evidence for your opinion. That is what the examiner is going to look at. Even if you're confused, or even if you are neutral on something, you don't have to show it. For this test, do you need to express your opinion, or do you need marks? Which one do you need?
I need marks.
Exactly. So for getting good marks, you have to pick a side, and then you have to provide evidence in support of that side. Even if you disagree with that, or you are in a neutral position, fine. If you disagree, and then provide evidence for your disagreement. Don't say I somewhat disagree, but I also agree. That's a diplomatic or a neutral position. Don't do that.
What if I tell my opinions from both sides?
Don't. It asks, do you think that goals are necessary to achieving success in life? It's a yes/no question. Either you think yes, they're necessary, or you don't think that they're necessary. You have to pick one side. From both sides, you should not answer questions such as this. If the examiner asks you, however, I don't think many examiners ask this kind of question, that to what extent do you think goals are necessary in life? To what extent? So that means you think to some extent you should agree, and the rest is disagreement. There should be a level of disagreement in there somewhere. So the question will be phrased that way. If the question is phrased that way, that is a safe option, that you can come from both sides. But if it's a yes, no, agree, disagree question, I would suggest you don't be neutral or provide answers from both sides. Pick one side and stick to that. All right. Okay. And your sentence making, I think you need some more complex and compound sentences, as well as work on your vocab a little bit. You're repeating words as well. Goal is not the only word that you can use. Homework, find out what you can use other than goal instead of goal. Target is one good word. Instead of goals, you can say target. All right, target, achievement, target. These are good alternatives to goals. So your vocab needs a little more work. Acha. Your eye contact and your tendency of repeating sentences will get you some less marks. So your range should be from 5.5 to 6. I would give you a 5.5 based upon this test. Also, I would suggest that you record yourself. A lot of improvements, you know your problems, you know where your trouble lies. So you can record yourself and solve a lot of problems by yourself, you know. So I will see you next week. That's all from my side. Do you have any more questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right. Okay, then you can turn off your audio and video then.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Salman, sir, are you here? Salman Rani?
Yes, ma'am, I hear you.
All right, very good. Can you turn on your video?
Am I clear, ma'am?
Yes, I can see you, but your lights might be a little problematic. Okay. Can you put this down somewhere instead of holding it, because you need to take notes? That works. That works. Fine. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
আচ্ছা, Salman sir, এইভাবে না, এইভাবে না. Don't cross your arms. এমনি রাখেন, হ্যাঁ, এইভাবে রাখেন. This is fine. ঠিক আছে, don't cross your arms. All right? আচ্ছা. All right. Let's begin. May I have your full name, please?
My full name is Salman Samrani. You can call me Salman.
I think I remember I told you.
Yeah, ma'am. I
Only
already.
full name. Only full name. Only full name.
Okay, ma'am.
Again, may I have your full name?
My full name is Salman Samrani.
How may I address you?
You may address by Salman.
Okay, then Salman. Do you work or study?
Actually, I do both. I'm a student as well as I'm an entrepreneur.
All right. Tell me about your daily routine.
Actually, I wake up early in the morning and I take my prayer and I sit for studies sometime, and then I prepare to go university or my workplace. After completing all of this work, I return to my home and talk with my family.
All right. Thank you very much. So let's talk about your workplace. Can you tell me a little bit about your responsibilities?
Ma'am, actually, I work in a restaurant. I give my employer to direction. Actually, I'm here as a director. Actually, I work here around 2 years.
All right. Do you take pictures when you go out somewhere?
Obviously, ma'am, it's a favorite. It's my favorite thing. Actually, I do. Whenever I go somewhere, I took some pictures to capture the scenario up there.
Tell me about the last picture that you took of something from nature.
Well, ma'am, I recently visited Cox's Bazar, which is the longest sea beach in Bangladesh. It's really beautiful, and I took some pictures, the natural beauty of Cox's Bazar.
All right. Can you tell me about something that holds good memories for you?
Ma'am, I can't able to catch you. Can you repeat it?
Tell me about something that holds good memories for you.
Yeah, actually, when I was a school-going student, this dose is really, I really miss those days, actually, because that time had no sorrows. I enjoyed those with my friends and the family. I always played on the field near to my house. So it was a really good
Thank
days
you
that I
very
passed and
much.
I remember.
Thank you very much. What do you usually do in the evenings?
Actually, in the evening, I listen to music. Uh, I actually listen to music in my passion and fashion and obsession because and beside this, I hang out with my friends. It's my favorite pastime. Talking with my friends, sharing with my what I'm doing. We gossip
All
a
right.
lot.
Thank you. Now, for the next part of the test, I will be showing you a topic. You'll have 1 minute to prepare on it and then 2 minutes to speak on it. Let me share the topic with you. Do you see it? Your 1 minute begins now. Right, your time is up. You're going to speak for 2 minutes. Please begin.
A great lesson that I still remember. That is, my teacher gave me the motivation when I failed in my final examination. And this was really a sad, sorrows moment for me. But my teacher called me and gave some motivation, and actually it's worked really well. And I just disappointed what I did, what my result was, and actually uh, I can't I can think that what I need to do now. My if my families knew that they might be torture to me. And my teachers give that time my teachers called me and give the valuable lesson that don't be afraid and work for it. What you made mistakes, what type of mistakes do you did already, so overcome it, work until you get success. So actually I from that time I really my realization comes that I have to do it at any cost. And I work a lot for my lesson from day to night. And the surprisingly the next year I did a great result, and I obtained the first position of my school from the hundreds students. So it's a really a great lesson from my teachers, and still I remember that. uh, and I will remember until my date, because
All right.
uh,
Thank you very much. Now, that is the end of part 2. All right. So the lesson that you learned, is it still useful to you?
yes ma'am, it's really it's have an effect still on my mind, because still we have an we in our life there's many ups and downs. Sometimes I fail to at my workplace. Um, it's not to have to be in my academic life. Actually, it can be happen in my workplace, and I just remember my teacher's lesson, and I get energy from the motivation that he gave me, and I I feel that time more energetic, and I work and I conquer the problem that I face.
Thank you. Who do you think should be solely responsible for giving children moral lessons? Parents or children?
I think I personally believe that parents, the parents can give their children more moral lesson, because children are growing, and children are a very soft-hearted person. Uh, if anyone teach them, they learn from the lesson, and it's a better thing to teach them in a childhood in a childhood, uh, because they take it and work what their older people say to them, say to work, say to do.
All right. Thank you. For any kind of lesson, which is more useful, ancient history or recent history?
I think both are important, but I will choose recent riches. Though we had to know about the ancient riches, how the problem was made, and how to overcome those problems. And but sometimes they're not work, because problem might be different now, so we have to solve it in the recent way. Not we can get a lesson from the past experience, past research, but we have to solve in the solve now in a different way. So I think recent research is more important than the past one.
All right. That brings us to the end of your test. Acha. Hey, I mean research boli nahi. I said ancient history or recent.
Ma'am, I say I listen that sometimes my voice and the network connection is going too low, and
Yes, I see that.
it's really difficult to hear you, to catch you.
Yes, I see that, because I said recent, you heard research. So that
Oh.
could be a problem. However, the network connection on your exam center, within your exam center, won't be this bad. So I hope. Other than this, there are no other comprehension problems on your end. However, Salman, your thoughts are really disorganized. Huh? Your thoughts have to be much more organized for your speech to be much more organized. All right. You're saying the right things, but you're mixing them up. You're just mixing it up. Huh. Acha, do you work as a manager at your workplace?
Yeah.
You work as a manager at your workplace. That's the first sentence that you should use, that I work as a manager in this place. Say the name of the place. All right. I work as a manager. This word you could not remember. You tried, but you could not remember. Basic questions are pretty straightforward. What do you do? Where do you live? Where are you from? Do you work or study? So I would suggest that, do you have the book, by the way?
No, ma'am. I did. Oh yeah, ma'am. I have the book.
So in your house. So when you're practicing, do you have access to this book?
Sometimes I practice from online, and sometimes I look at this book as well.
So in this book, there are practice questions for part 1. The first set of questions are some of the questions that you should have answers, clear answers to. What do you do? Where do you live? Do you work or do you study? Where are you from? Tell me about your current living space. Tell me about your hometown. Tell me about your work. Tell me about your study. All these questions should have clear answers. All right. So I would suggest you look into this. Achha. You keep fidgeting with your fingers. Don't do it. You crossed your arms. After note taking, you crossed your arms. So when you're in your exam hall, you will be asked to keep your hands on the table. Don't fidget with your fingers or the pencil or anything. Your hands will remain empty at all times, except for when you're taking notes. When you're supposed to take notes, pick up the pencil, take the notes, and then put the pencil back. All right? So keep your hands steady. Don't fidget. Very distracting, you'll lose marks. I'm supposed to look at your face when you're talking to see your expressions and your eye contact and everything. I keep getting distracted by your fingers. The examiner will too. That will lose you some marks. Don't do it. Achha. If you don't understand the question, you're supposed to ask, could you please repeat the question, or could you please rephrase the question? You don't have to add, I don't understand you, it's not clear. Don't say additional stuff. Just ask the question. Could you please repeat the question? Or could you please rephrase the question? That will be enough. Achha. You say actually too much. Did I say this to you last time?
It's
It's
a habit, I think.
I know, it's a speaking tick. Saying actually, saying like. There are some people who keep saying like. You're saying actually too much. Sounds awkward. Work on that. Practice, consciously practice speaking without saying actually. Just focus. Just focus on not saying actually for 10 minutes. All right? Now, your subject-verb agreement needs work. Your subject-verb agreement needs some work. Like, I feel that time more energetic. That's not accurate. Sometimes they're not work. Sometimes they don't work. Children's hoina. Children itself is plural. So your singular, plural plus your subject-verb agreement. Your basic subject-verb agreement needs some work. Your vocabulary, your use of linkers is next to none. You have to use many more linkers. A lot more linkers. Achha, will you remember all this feedback? Because I don't see you writing anything down. Will you remember all the points that I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am, I remember.
Okay, good. Achha. So your priority should be organizing your thoughts. Area method is good for organizing your answers. Area method is good. Even for part 3, you can use area method, but since part 3 is a little more critical, you need to think of reasons and examples and your opinion, opposite opinion. So organizing them in a method helps. Try area for now. Area is a good one. Achha. So that should be your priority and subject-verb agreement. Look, grammar is not a very important criterion in IELTS speaking, but it is one of the criteria. So basic grammar is necessary. Basic grammatical accuracy, basic grammatical range, like being able to use words and their right forms, being able to use correct subject-verb agreement, being able to use singular and plural forms accurately, being able to use simple, complex, and compound sentences accurately. These are basic grammar lessons. You need to work on those. All right? This is your priority. Organizing your thoughts and basic subject-verb agreement. This is priority. All right? Work on this, and next week we can talk again. All right?
Okay.
Any questions from your end, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right. Okay, someone. That concludes your test. You can turn off your audio and video.
Ma'am, how band score can I obtain for this test that I give you?
Not more than 5. Not more than 5.
Thank you.
You need a little more work. Okay. Masum Rahman, sir. Are you here? Masum, sir, can you hear me? All right. I think this should be the end of our practice session today. We have been here for more than 90 minutes. Now, does anyone else have any questions regarding?
Yes, I'm you right now. It's network issues. Sense. Masur Rahman is speaking.
Oh, all right. You have issues with your network, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you turn on your video?
Okay.
All right. Can you put your phone down somewhere so that you can take notes?
In my hand, left hand, I have not a stand in my phones. So for this.
All right. Okay. Now, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
May I have your full name, please?
This is Masum Rahman.
How may I address you?
You can call me Masum.
Do you work or do you study?
Right now, recently I have completed my study. Right now, I'm a service holder.
Let's talk about leisure activities. What is your most favorite leisure activity?
In generally, in leisure time, I spend in video games. That's which is I spend too much time in my video games. For this reason, it's habits of from my student life. So when I got chance and I spend most of time in online and especially.
Thank you. What kind of video games do you play? Prefer to play?
Okay, there are a lot of video games in online, but I prefer in a PUBG, and which is most popular games in our country, not of our country, all over the world. So I most of time I spend I like to uh, game in PUBG.
Right. Do you like to spend time with your family?
Yes, obviously obviously I like to spend too much time with my family because it's a core of mine, and I live in currently I'm living live in Dhaka, but when I got a chance to or or I get a weekend, I meet with my family's members.
All right, thank you. Where do you usually like to go with your family?
Okay. In my opinions, when I pass my time with my family, I feel really good, and I appreciate. I really spend in our historical place in our country that I love to spend with my family. Those places of name of Coxbajar and
Right, thank you very much. Now, for the next part of the test, I will be showing you a topic. You'll have 1 minute to prepare and then 2 minutes to speak on.
Okay.
Can you see the topic?
Yes.
Your 1 minute begins now. All right, your time is up. Now you're going to speak for 2 minutes.
Okay. In my life, I have passed a lot of time to walk in several times, but now I am mentioned a time that's recently I have walked in longest walk. That was 21 June in 2022, and it was the Munshigons, and our main aims was to on that day the Padma Bridge was to start it. So on that time there was no there's potential persons to attend there for this region. So the whole road was broke, and I was too much keen to attend this convention. Some of my friend and with was with me, and we walk almost 2 or more kilometers on that day, because the road was blocked from different from long way. After we walk a long distance, we reached there, and we look our chief guest.
Mr. Rahman, can you hear me? Master Mohammed, sir, can you hear me? Master Rahman, sir, can you hear me? All right. Masoom, sir, can you hear me? Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot wait for you much longer because we've been here for over 2 hours. Okay. Does anyone have any question? If there are no questions, then we will end the practice session here today. Thank you for participating. Thanks a lot. I will see you next week, inshallah. Take care.
Thank you very much, ma'am. দোকানে গেছিলাম, দোকানে কারেন্ট গেছে, পরে দেখি এনে ক্লাস করলাম। দোকানে নেটওয়ার্ক পাওয়া যায় না, বাইরেও নেটওয়ার্ক পাওয়া যায় না, বিপদে আছি।
Fazlul
But
Karim bro, what was your brand score given by ma'am today? Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Oh,
Is Fazlul Karim bro speaking?
yes, I am Fazlul Karim.
Yes. I asked you something. It was like what was the band score given by ma'am today of you?
Oh, ma'am given 6.5.
And maybe she predicted some more band scores, maybe 7.5 with some
Oh, predicting.
modifications.
I should more work about this. He predict about in next week I will get 7.5. That's
Okay. On what did she tell you to work?
sorry.
What did she tell you to work on?
Oh, she was told about work on my grammar and also the lexical resource coherence, and I forget that. I will talk to you later. Huh? I am busy quite because I have not get lunch yet.
I haven't. Okay.
Hello.
Okay, bro. Best of luck. I think you are the highest brand score gainer to this from to this class. Break a
Okay,
leg.
thank you. Uh, uh, Hassan by talking or who?
I am Mahmoud Ibn Hussain.
Oh, it's Muhammad Ismail Hussain. Oh, okay. We'll talk together in the later.
In the
Okay.
later. Okay.
Okay, no problem. Okay, thank you.